My friend who works for a security agency, I can't say who or where or who it was, but he sent me a message. He said he basically brought up the idea that, you know, basically when they created the Second Amendment, when they wrote the Second Amendment, a lot of the argument you hear is, well, they didn't know about the AR-15 when they wrote it, so it was clearly, he said if we apply the same logic, well, in that case, they also didn't know about the internet when they wrote the First Amendment. And it's interesting when he said that, it inspired me to bring up a couple topics we've already talked about. It all kind of fits real well. But it was a good point, because the reason I'm worried about it is if we accept that, and that seems to be the accepted argument, at least on the left, is, well, they didn't know about assault rifles, even though AR-15 does not mean assault rifle, then they could also take that same argument and apply it to free speech. Well, you know, the founding fathers didn't know about the internet or what it would imply, and then Twitter, they didn't know. So we've obviously got to make laws to, you know, limit that free speech, because it's dangerous. Hate speech is dangerous. It incites violence and divisiveness, and you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Can I say something about the Second Amendment?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Criminals don't go through legal channels to purchase weapons anyway. So you're only taking the weapons away from the good guys. Period.
Right.
I mean, how many times has someone on The Sopranos ever went to a Walmart and like registered for a gun to knock someone out?
Wait, did you not catch that episode? That was in season 3, episode 4, about halfway through.
Oh, God, I forgot about that one.
It was right after the Gillette men's razor commercial.
You're right. I bow out.
I never watched that show, so I'm.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Daddy's got you. It's okay. I'll let you borrow it.
That would involve watching TV. I just don't do a lot of that. You know, I got world problems to solve. You know what I mean?
Right.
At any rate. Yeah, so I was just, you know, the big question I wanted to ask about the bombing situation as it pertains to the Second Amendment rights issue, and the way I kind of presented it so far is this: should bombs be illegal? You know, should private citizens be allowed to carry around grenades if they want to? Should they be allowed to carry around whatever fucking contraption you want to make, explosive, whatever the case may be? I was just curious what I can share my opinions all I want, but I was just curious what you guys thought about that.
I mean, I don't think so, but you know, just like the porn thing you brought up, I hate it. I wish it didn't exist. I think it's terrible. I think it makes it's breaking down relationships and making men, you know, jerks, but you have the right to watch it. So I'm not, you know, I don't want it to be illegal. So same thing. I'm not a bomb fan, but if you want to blow yourself up, who the fuck am I to say not to?
What do you think, Trent?
I am for having a very wide variety of firearms and other equipment available to the civilian population, because the primary reason behind the Second Amendment is to have pretty much a standing army of civilians ready to repulse any invading force should the standing army not be available, return to the population. We have to remember that at the time, such things as letters of marque were being issued for civilian piracy against the Crown and other places. They would be having fully armed warships. The Battle of New Orleans is another example of privately owned cannon being used against British regiments. There's also such things as the puckle gun, which were designed for multiple shots being fired from warships at such things as small pirate skiffs, including specialized rounds to be used against Mohammedan fighters to increase the pain of the wounds. So our ancestors are a lot harder core than we give them credit for, and they certainly were not shy with stacking bodies in order to ensure their freedoms and their rights.
Right on.
I think also another reason why the Second Amendment is there, if I'm not mistaken, is also in case government becomes tyrannical. I mean, so, you know, so you can knock that shit out too.
Did you just say in case the government becomes tyrannical? I think it's tyrannical by nature.
I think you just triggered him.
You meant what I knew. You meant what I knew. I mean, you knew what I meant.
So what
just
about,
started something.
What about you, Nicole? Before we forget, what your thoughts are on this? What do you think?
Everything is a tool. It's humans who are the problem. And banning anything does not discourage anything. We have to hold humans accountable and not things. If I might, for just 1 second, I'm going to address Bob McCabe. I believe everyone here would agree with you, Bob. None of us want only the government to have guns.
That's, yeah, because, you know, that's funny because everybody says, you know, they want gun control, and meaning there's no such thing as gun control. There's only
gun control. We have registration. We have background checks.
Yeah.
That is control.
Yeah, the only type of gun control we have is you know, you would take the guns from the law-abiding citizens and give them to the to the government or the police force, and they would be the only one. I did want, before this comment gets missed, I did want to point out Michael Felsky says the musket used to fight the government or a person back in the day were considered assault rifles because they were, you know, used to assault someone. It makes sense. Otherwise, they're just rifles, and to Nicole's point, they're just tools, is all they are. And then he also added, what about missiles? Should only governments have them? And see, I'm one of those weirdos that says, as far as the Second Amendment's concerned, if you want, you can own whatever. I feel like you can, if you want to own a bazooka and make movies with it or whatever, you know,
as long as you know how to safely use it and you're not going to blow up your neighbor. Hey,
right. You know, the legal problem comes up when you actually use it to kill somebody. That's the law that gets broken.
But then it becomes an issue of a human, not of an object.
Exactly. So Trent, you had one more thing you were trying to say earlier. Is it still pertinent, or did you want to move on?
Yes, going along the lines of it being a problem of a human killing another human, is that one of the primary things that goes for the First Amendment to be censored is that people forget that the primary method of censorship is self-censorship. So I decide what I say, and I decide how I use my arms. Mm-hmm. The same in both things. It's human decision to perform a specific action.
Absolutely. But we have agreed, I believe, that not being a jerk and shooting your neighbor is a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. Probably don't want to do that. I tend to frown upon my neighbor shooting my kids with their guns, and I want to see them punished for that.
But they're more than welcome to own them.
Exactly. If you own them, I could give a shit. You know, if I walk in your living room and you've got a full-size military World War II tank sitting in the middle of your living room on display with beautiful lights, and the gun is hanging out the top of your roof where you can hop up there to your heart's content and point it at whatever you want to point it at. As long as you won't pull the trigger and kill somebody, by all means, have fun, buddy. I don't give a shit. I really don't. Because you're not breaking any laws. You're not hurting anybody. There's no victim.
Exactly. If there's no victim, there's no crime.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.